y'all, and welcome to the Healthy by Heather Brown podcast, where I encourage you in healthy mind, body, and spirit through my Sunday reset. Let's get into it. Hey girl, hey, here we are with a new episode of Healthy by Heather Brown. This week's gonna be a little bit different because I know so far this season we have been talking all about mind, body, and spirit health as it is related to kids and you guys shaping and forming the next generation as just a generation that is called. We want them to walk in the Lord's calling and we want them to have empowerment in their mind, body, and spirit. We want them to live healthy and be feeling good. And so today's interview is just a little bit different because with Alisa Keeton, I can't flipping wait for y'all to hear from her because she's going to just share so much wisdom that I personally gained from listening to her talk about zone 2 cardio and really just reminding me how to empower my own self with the workouts and knowing that I know what's best for my body, nutrition-wise, listening to my body, how I'm working out, and not being afraid to take the mod down at the gym or to mod up when I need to or listen to where I'm at in my cycle. But because I'm bringing you this episode that is not related to kids this week, because I just thought it was too good for you guys to miss out on, I wanted to get it to you sooner rather than later. I actually recorded it before I knew, and God had put on my heart that this season was going to be about kids. I've decided to bring and release a very special favorite episode that I've had all throughout the podcast this Thursday. So every time this podcast season that I release an episode on Tuesday that is new, that is not related to kids, I will re-release one of my very favorite episodes related to kids I've recorded in the past on that Thursday. So you guys will hear from Matt Beaudreau this Thursday. Make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast or click that follow button because then it will auto download whenever I put something out new onto your favorite podcast listening platform. But with all that said, so sometimes this podcast season, you will see an episode on Tuesday and on Thursday. There is so much goodness coming your way. I just want to remind you, like I said, that I'm going to link back to Nicole Jardim's episode where we dove into, or deep dove, I don't know how you say that, but how we talked about, just listening to your body and how your cycle affects your workouts, how it affects what you should be eating, your like good energy times of the month versus maybe when you should pull back and be more at home or what have you. And I feel like that would be a really good episode for y'all to scroll down to the show notes and click to listen to have a good frame of reference for this conversation. Also, I'm going to link the episodes in the past where I've talked about Pure Barre with Danielle Davis and then also Burn Boot Camp. So you guys can hear all about some of my favorite workouts and how they work in different seasons of my fitness journey and or in that life phase. So I hope that you guys try those gyms or fitness boutiques if you have not yet. And also, obviously, would love to have you join the Healthy by Heather Brown membership where I teach you more about how to live a more holistic life in mind, body, and spirit and how to really live out a life well loved. So if you want to know how to join the Healthy by Heather Brown membership for 7 days free, scroll down to the show notes. You can click and sign up there and get those other great resources. And then make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you can listen this week on Tuesday and Thursday. Yay, bonus episode. And let's get into it with Alisa. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Healthy by Heather Brown. I'm so excited to have you today because you guys are going to be in freaking awe of Alisa Keeton. I have been following her stuff now for probably close to a year. And then the thing that really kind of like escalated my fangirling of her was when I listened to her semi-recent podcast episode that she did about zone 2 cardio, talking about perimenopause. And I was like, okay, that's it. It was like the match that lit me to DM her and say, okay, I've got to get you on the show. We got to talk about this. My people want to talk about it. So with all that, I do also want to say she's a certified personal trainer. She's the founder of Revelation Wellness. She's been doing 30 years plus in the health and wellness industry. But not only that, she's an author. She's written 3 books called The Body Revelation, her latest one, The Wellness Revelation, and Heir to the Crown. So with all that said, freaking Alisa Keeton, finally, welcome to the show. Yay.
Oh, God. I love that. First time maybe called freaking Alisa Keeton and it fits very much. So I'm so happy to be here. This is the beauty of social media.
It really is. It so is. Yeah. I think that one thing that you and I definitely have in common is our love for the Lord and our love for health and wellness. And so when I first started looking at Alisa, this is a lot of background, but I rebranded not that long ago because I had been my life well loved. And I talk about living this life well loved in all avenues of your life. But then I was like, I really want to hone in on the health and wellness space, specifically how it ties in for believers. And as I was researching, that's how I stumbled upon you and Revelation Wellness and all the things. And so I'd love to just hear kind of to get started. Number one, where are you from? And how did you get the vision for Revelation Wellness and what you've started?
So crazy. Well, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now, trying not to incinerate. And I have 2 grown adult children, lived here. I'm a native, moved away for a little bit. And that was actually where my faith journey began. I got married. My husband, marriage really brought the worst and no, I can't say the best out of me, pretty much the worst out of me. And that was where my faith became not just something of a concept. It became the reality that I needed. And I was a health and wellness connoisseur turned kind of professional at that point early on. At 14, I took my first aerobics class. I think I'm much older than you, Heather, but that was 1985. Leg warmers and all. And we didn't know what we were doing. There was no science behind it. It was just like, hey, move your body. We think it helps us. Actually, at that time, it was lose fat, the whole kind of diet culture. We didn't know what we were doing. We just knew, this is healthy. We should do this. I did that. And I loved it. Like when I moved my body, there was something about it that felt like release. Now I know it's hormones and biochemistry and all the good hope molecules that God has made our bodies to release when we move. So I pursued health and wellness. I started out of college, personal training. I was a group program developer for a big chain gym at that time called The Q, which is now 24 Hour Fitness, I think. And I just loved it. I loved helping people. But I saw 2 things happen a lot when I would help people. They would generally come because they saw my enthusiasm for the activity of health and wellness. They saw my body has responded well to health and wellness or fitness over the years. I've done fitness competing and all that back in the day when I didn't know what I was doing. I was just exploring it. And I think you have a fitness background too, don't you?
I do. I taught bar for about 10 years, but I mean, I'm just like you where like the second I could get active, cheer, volleyball, all of it, I've done it my whole life.
I think that just kind of is your lane.
Yes.
And so I had no problem getting clients and I love people. Like I love connecting with people. I fully believe, I think one of my spiritual gifts is faith. If you don't believe for something, I'll believe for you. Like I can believe for you. And I would believe for my clients. And I think they felt that genuine connection. But 2 things would tend to happen. They would start off going in the right direction, investing in the sessions, getting their program together. And then they would show up and it would consistently be going in the right direction. Then suddenly something would happen and they would fall off. Like they would fall off always. And we know that's kind of biblical. It's whenever we start moving towards good things come against us. They just do. I mean, that's resistance. And so people would tend to fall off and maybe go back into a neglect cycle. Shame would show up and they would just double down into the same cycle. Or I could help people get better, follow the program, which weight loss and muscle gain is not that difficult. I mean, I say that, I don't say that flippantly. It really is do these things. If you do these things, it will happen. A, B, C, but it's not a way to live. It's locked down into formulas. And I found myself constantly having to rewrite the formula for the next 5% fat loss. And then people would get to the goal and it got very tight and obsessive. And they were no longer fun people. They were just rigid. I thought, this isn't, I don't want either one. I don't want people to live in shame and I don't want people to live in pride. I just saw this is going nowhere. The cycle just kept perpetuating. And meanwhile, my personal life was going off the rails. I had everything outwardly, like health and wellness. My body looked the part. I had the trophies. I had the clientele. I was earning more money than most of my fellow graduates out of college. But I was miserable. Like I got married. My soul was aching. My soul needed more. There's something in our soul that will never, ever be filled by the weight loss, the muscle gain, the relationship, the credentials, whatever. It just won't. It's God's designed us for himself. As St. Augustine says, that your soul will not find rest until it rests in God. And I was doing everything else but God. And so then I went to church one day, a gal at the gym, which is so great. If you go to gyms, y'all, people are spiritual at the gym. They really are.
Yeah, it really is wild. Yes.
Seeking to they're seeking to have a strength that doesn't fail, a love that never ends, money or a resource that doesn't go bankrupt. Like we're searching to hold on to stuff, really, which we know is fading away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to church and I heard the message of the gospel, which I knew the gospel. I called myself a Christian. Like I would have labeled myself a believer, but my heart wasn't ready for the gospel. Like I was tired. I was sick and tired of what's wrong with me. Like I have everything, but I have nothing. And I think the same story for people who feel like I have nothing. And yet where do I get the everything? It's in Christ alone. So that happened for me. I had a real conversion of heart of oh, it's God. My soul will not find rest until it's in God. Okay.
Yes.
And I was ready. I was ready to I'm going to live for this thing, this one thing. So that was in 1999, the year 2000, in the year of 1900s of our Lord. And I just kind of took off from there. What happened is I would go back to the gym to train my clients, and I was going to church on Sunday. And this is so cool, God. The world just starts to get tight. Like you start to see things as under the gospel. Like I'd read the word, go to church, and then things would play out where I no longer could see my clients the same. I saw them as people who were hungry for more. And for me not to share Christ felt like, what am I doing here? I'm just taking their money.
Yes.
I think we can, I still want to train them, but what if it's something more? So God moved in and just kind of he just started moving the furniture around. Like, okay, this isn't looking like I thought. But I want to do this. And he kind of invited me to do it his way. Like, do you want to learn this how I see it, what I created bodies for, he loves a good Zumba class. He loves a good bar class. He's all about that. Our bodies are miracles. Amazing. How do we live in them as something? How are our bodies, as my friend Lisa Whittle says, our bodies are to be lived in, not worked on. Lisa Whittle quote, we live in it. And I think God loves when we just live, feel alive, have joy, have energy. And food is a part of that. There's these parts of the world that are created that we can cooperate with for the best energy and outcome, rather than constantly looking in the mirror and trying to fix what we see as wrong. So that's the two approaches. And then when God started showing me that, I started just going, okay, I think I'm supposed to write something. That was in the early 2000s. And I started Revelation Wellness as a nonprofit ministry where we equip leaders to go out with this holistic message. So we have about 3,000 instructors around the world that are doing this full gospel message, still meeting people in their needs, but giving them a bigger, beautiful story for their body and offering it to God. Showing God is something greater than whatever else we want here on earth. So that's what I've been doing.
I love it so much. And I think it's something that's obviously so needed in the world. And I think that as we just get deeper and deeper into, sin and sin nature, we know that just like you were talking about earlier, I think about the Bible verse, the grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of the Lord will stand forever. And I think that we as humans just do get so caught up in that, always chasing to fill that hole. But it's ultimately it's God and his word that is going to stand firm and give us that fulfillment. But I do want to get a little bit into, first of all, do you mind sharing how old you are actually?
Yeah, no, I'm like that Saturday Night Live skit. I am 53 and I'm good with it. I'm 53 years old.
Yes, that's awesome. So I'm 38. And so when you put out your podcast episode talking about perimenopause, I was like, yes, I need to tune into this. So just to give you a little bit of a background, I now am at Burn Boot Camp, which are you familiar? I think they're all over the nation.
Yeah, they're all over. My friend Tony Collier is, she's a big Burn Boot Camp fan.
Okay, I love it. So anyway, what I think that I really want to hear women hear from you today is number one, if they're like, okay, here I am, I'm in my mid to upper 30s, I'm still going to a gym like a Burn Boot Camp or, Iron Tribe or whatever it is. And these workouts, they're super intense and they're killing me. And you said something that really flipped the switch in my brain about bringing my health and wellness to the Lord in a new way and realizing, like, when does perimenopause start? How does your body start changing? Do you mind just speaking a little bit into just kind of that basic principle? Because a lot of my girlfriends are starting to say, okay, all the things that I used to do to just like drop the 5 pounds isn't working anymore, and my belly fat's hanging here. What is happening? I'd love for you to go into that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wish I knew this when I was in my 30s, 40s. I feel like right now we are so much more in tune with this story of perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. We just never really thought about it. Plus, a lot of health and research is not done on women. If you guys know that, like when you read about studies on cortisol or, anabolic steroids or anything with the body and response to science itself and nutrition or exercise in the medical world, they're done mostly on men. And the reason they do them on men is because women are unpredictable in our biochemistry. Why is that? Because we cycle through every 28 days. Our hormones fluctuate. We're high and we're low. Men generally don't. Men hold and they just hold. They have some fluctuation as they age later in later years. But for us, we're kind of up and down in a way that science goes, well, that's not controlled enough. So now we don't have a lot of research on women. So now we're starting to see more of it. It's still really under-researched, but we have to actually study the thing we're saying is the problem why we don't study women. It's this cycle of our hormones. Yes. So menopause is a word most people are familiar with. Menopause is one day in your life. It is the day that you have not had a period for 1 year. Once you've gone 1 year without a period, they call that menopause. It happens on one day. Then the next day after that, you're postmenopause. Everything prior to that 1 day of no period, they call that, it's perimenopause. And perimenopause can happen 10 years. You can be in a 10-year zone before you hit that 1 day without your period. Some women have their menopause, their 1 day without their period happens in their late 40s, early 50s. That's usually the window. For me, I know for sure it was around the time that I turned 50, right at 50. Menopause happened for me. And that's when it hit. My body just would not do what it was supposed to do. But I can tell you it's because I didn't treat myself well in the 10 years leading up in a way. There were signs there that I was pushing and working my body really hard to keep going. And it would rise to the challenge, but it's like my wick was starting to burn down. And I don't know if women feel that here. Like you would go to a high intensity class because it feels good in the moment. It's very endorphin charging, very cortisol spiking, which cortisol isn't bad. Cortisol is like an essential hormone. You need one hormone. Cortisol's good. Gets us through moments, helps us focus, do work. But when it stays elevated for a long amount of time, that's when the hormones get whacked out and we start feeling the things like brain fog. High cortisol will lead to brain fog, body aches, joint pain, bloat, your tummy expansion happening. And I'll talk more about that in a second. Yeah. But we need to see that happen because we're trying to push and push and push at that high level. And that's why when menopause hits, like it's all game over. We got hot flashes at night sweats, and more brain fog. The brain fog really kicked in for me at menopause. So what we need to be aware of is everything about exercise. When you exercise, you are engaging what is your nervous system. That is your body's fight, flight, freeze, stress response. And also it's rest and digest. Your nervous system is your energy body. Like it's the part of you that your brain talks to your body and your body talks to your brain because of your nervous system. Think of like all those nerve endings. But the fuel that runs inside of those nerves and gets all the information for the brain and the body are your hormones. The chemistry, it's like the chemical. Like you put petrol or gas into your car, we put unleaded gas in. For us, our bodies, hormones. Hormones and neurotransmitters, that's the chemistry that our nervous system then can do what it needs to do, reach for the glass, do whatever it needs to do. So when we work out at a level of we're pushing our body, and really that cortisol response is starting to just stay elevated, you're going to notice periods getting whacked out, your mood's getting irregular, your brain fog showing up. You're just not enjoying your life as much as you used to. But it'll feel good in the moment. It'll feel good in the moment to spike your cortisol or spike your cortisol in a high intensity workout. But then there'll be a fall. And then you just kind of keep falling. And I fell in that, Heather, where I just kept trying to do it again. Like, don't be weak. Come on, Alisa. Don't grow old. Don't grow old. Like, you can do it. Don't give up. And actually, I was digging myself into a ditch where chronic inflammation was happening all the time. I felt like my body felt like it hurt all the time. I'm thinking, I'm a fitness professional. This is not how this should be going. And it wasn't until I finally submitted it to the Lord, like, what is going on with my body? And it was a hard stop. I had to stop all that high intensity and pull back, zone 2 cardio, gentle fitness, and change how I looked at my food, because food also, there's gentle nutrition that's going to be good for you because of that chemistry change. When we're in perimenopause, we start to lose estrogen. Estrogen is such a key hormone for us as women. And it's one of those things that when they start to fall off, that's where we get the bloat gain. Here's the thing with the tummy fat or the belly fat. Let me tell you this story, Heather. I turned 50 and I had this pink jumpsuit that I was like just on point. I had this big 50-year-old party, big celebration, hot pink jumpsuit, just feeling myself like, this is great. I'm 50. And about 2 weeks after my birthday party, I remember sitting down and I'm like at the breakfast table going, why can I feel my belly like touching my thighs? What is that? I went to put on that pink suit about a week later. I could not, it was as if I was being sawed in half. I mean,
wow.
It wasn't slow. It was, like I said, I think my body was like, no more. So here's what happens. Our bellies have the number one area of estrogen receptors. So estrogen is going to be received in the belly. That's where it kind of hangs out and it'll process there. When the estrogen starts to go down, cortisol then starts to just hang out more in the belly, and the receptors of estrogen can't do their thing anymore. So it just holds cortisol. And that's where we see more of the belly bloat happening. So it's the decrease in estrogen, increase in cortisol if you're doing all these workouts. And your belly just goes, okay, we're just going to hold all this cortisol here, because if we had more estrogen, it would help to take that cortisol away. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And you even explained it in the podcast that I was listening to, as she was saying, that is literally where your visceral fat is going, right?
Yeah.
Like it's attracting visceral fat, and visceral fat is the bad kind of fat, right?
Correct. Yeah. Visceral fat is not subcutaneous fat. Like you can't pitch it. It is down in your belly, which explains why I didn't just put on weight all of a sudden. It was in my organs inside, just kind of pushing out. That bloat was happening, water retention, and the belly fat starting to accumulate. So that's when I was like, okay, something has to change.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the way that you have phrased it about being like, okay, but if I'm a believer, which I say that I am, and I'm noticing this, how did you then, like, what was your next step forward? You were like, okay, this doesn't fit anymore. I went to God. What did you say to God? What did you learn? Tell us all the things.
First of all, I will tell you this. The first thing I did, because I really do believe our bodies are for ability, not vanity. So I had to kind of wrestle with, you know what? Okay, my body's changing. I need to just let it change. Don't be so hard on your body. Just let it change. So I, bought a bigger pair of pants and just kind of like settled with it, not being mean to myself about it. Kind of still doing some workouts that were more intense here and there, but trying to make that transition.
Yeah.
What eventually became the line for me that I had to really check myself with is that it wasn't about the fact that I didn't, that I wasn't accepting my body. I didn't feel good in my body. Like I did not feel good. I hurt. My knees hurt. The pain, the inflammation, the brain fog. I was like, okay, it's one thing to accept that my body's changing. That's okay. But there's something going on here where I do not have good energy anymore. Then I went to the Lord and like, Lord, I think there's more here for me to live a good life. I don't care, but if my belly needs to be this size, I'm here for it. But I'm feeling bad. I don't feel the way. I don't feel vibrant. I don't feel really well. Help me. And that was when for me, the Lord called me into a fast with him. And I was fasting, not dieting. Fasting is not dieting. Fasting is, I'm going to remove all these comforts for a second. You know, the wine on the weekend, by the way, I think this is true for us in our 30s to 40s. The drinking shows up a lot more. It's so socially acceptable. It's so out there all the time. And y'all, that's the one thing your body cannot do a lot with is alcohol. You want a great way to add to visceral fat, it's drinking. Like our body cannot metabolize alcohol well. And not that I drank a lot, Heather. It's just like Fridays and Saturdays, I'd always have a good glass of wine.
Totally.
Enjoyed eating out with my husband. Like you kind of get to that point in life, you're like, I'm empty nested. Let's enjoy my life. But the foods and the drink that I was doing was very pleasureful for me. The Lord asked me to put those aside. So I put those aside and I just kind of went into a fast and like, all right, you tell me, God, what does it mean for my phase of life to live well? And I simplified things. I just got really simple with my food that I ate, the way that I moved my body. That was the other thing that then I really cut out high intensity anything in that fast. I stopped doing the things that I just normally do. And I turned them to the Lord and said, help me to find this next phase of my life, whatever you have for me. And that changed everything. For me, changing, and this is what you start to do all the research on menopause. The thing that we need as our bodies change is we do not need more sugar.
Unfortunately.
More sugar. Man. And there's so much sugar in our foods, guys.
Everything.
68% of the food in the grocery store. So just call it 70%. Everyone get a picture right now of a box grocery store. 70%. Just shade in 70% of that box. That is all food that will not benefit you. It's not, your body gets confused by it. It's actually something, a researcher out of Harvard, I believe, named Dana Smalls, she calls it nutritive mismatch, that our bodies cannot process. If you sees like a piece of chocolate, and if it's like a piece of organic chocolate, like real chocolate, the body goes, ooh, chocolate. And when you eat it, if it's actually organic chocolate, like real chocolate, no additives, no anything else, the body knows what to do with it. But if you showed another piece of chocolate where it's removed the fat, had some chemical alteration to it, and you eat that, it shows that the body cannot process it the same. That people who eat processed foods most likely eat 500 more calories a day on average if you eat processed. And it's because you don't feel satisfied. Your body's like, well, I thought we had a sandwich there, but I don't feel satisfied because those chemicals that are inside of it confuse the body. So it's nutritive mismatch. I started stripping away all the noise and just got back to food that is really real food, nourishing, comforting to me. My brain fog started to go away. I started to think more clearly. My pain in my body went away and the bloat, it went away.
Wow.
Right back down. So in the end, ladies, I feel like the Lord's like, listen, I know it's been a hard life. You're 40, you're in your 30s. It's been hard. It's hard. I need you to sharpen now, not fall back into comfort. And I've earned this right. He's actually going, you are a sharp arrow now. Sharpen, focus. You're a Ferrari, not a Volkswagen. You got something to leave to this earth and leave a legacy, but you have to get real sober and you just don't get to play around. Well, you can, but you pay a lot more in your body as you go through those stages of change.
Yes, for sure. Well, I think that that's really going to be an encouraging message for someone to hear today. And I do want to clarify a little bit for women that are like, y'all keep saying zone 2 cardio. Will you explain to everybody what zone 2 cardio is? And I just want to give an encouragement too, because I know that when you go to a burn boot camp or to whatever it is, it's high intensity. And, you know, there's strength days and there's cardio days and they do mix it up, which is great. But what I have had to realize is that a lot of the women that are there are in their 20s or they're even, you know, in college still or right out of college. And so a lot of times now I'm realizing like I have plantar fasciitis. And so I have to now modify things, not because it hurts while I'm doing those sprints or those jump ropes or whatever, but because it's going to hurt me tomorrow. And so what I love about this is that we're teaching women to start being willing to slow down and listen to their body and see what the Lord has to teach them about it. And so the first thing that I started learning and hearing about, even on social media, even and in these podcast interviews, was learning to listen to what time of the month you were in. So let me encourage you that even if you're like, I can't do all this stuff, it seems really overwhelming, even just start to listen to your body. And when you know, start tracking your period if you haven't been. And when you know you're coming up to that week before your period and the week of your period, just get a little bit lighter weight. Or instead of jumping rope, maybe you're doing a step touch. Or just don't be afraid to listen to your body, because your trainer, even though they are professionally trained, they're not the professional on you. God and you know what's going on in your body. Okay, sister?
Come on. Yeah, that is a word right there.
Hey, girl gang, interrupting today's episode to ask you, have you ever wondered how your unique biology impacts your health? Well, if not, I bet you are now. Let's get you some answers about your own personal health journey with Biome. Biome offers at-home tests to analyze your gut microbiome and cellular health to give you personalized insights into your well-being. Biome's easy-to-use testing kits provide you with a detailed understanding of your gut health, which is crucial for optimizing your energy, improving digestion, and even boosting your mood. And it's so simple. Just order your kit, send in your sample, and you'll get back an analysis with actionable advice based on the latest science to ensure you're getting the best guidance possible. Are you ready to take control of your health? Visit Biome and use my code Heather110 for $110 of your test. That's Biome.com.
And you're saying it goes back to listening to our body. That seems like such a woo-woo, how do I do that, Alisa, kind of a thing. It sounds good and, should write it down on a coffee cup, but we actually have to live that out. And so I think the question I would ask your audience that's watching is, what practice do you have for just taking a chance to listen to your body? Like, we do a lot of that in Revelation Wellness. We're teaching our instructors how to teach classes where people stay embodied. Not a lot of people exercise to escape their body in a way.
Oh, it's so good.
Feels like an evacuation. Like, I'm just gonna do this and feel better. But actually, you want to stay in your body and feel the weight as you're curling it. Feel your feet as you're running or moving and doing that step touch or whatever. Like that there's unlimited possibility to actually start practicing today how to be a body. You don't have a body. You are a body. So you have to be able to stay in it and listen to what it needs. So once you do that, you can really kind of just go on the journey and no one gets to dictate that.
Absolutely. So will you tell everybody a little bit about what Zone 2 cardio is and how to look for that? What does it look like?
Oh, Zone 2 is the best. Zone 2 will be your best friend. Okay. I will say this though. They go hand in hand. It's back to gentle fitness, gentle movement, and gentle nutrition. They do go hand in hand. If you shift over to gentle movement, but then go and just eat whatever you want and don't change anything there, you're all going to look at Heather and go, Zone 2 doesn't work. That's a joke. You're going to be like, I got to get my metabolism up. And you're going to have to continue to do that high intensity burn thing to try and make up for all these weird calories that you're eating. And it'll work for a while until you get 50, 60, and it'll start to decelerate. Also, there's tons of studies out there of like these power lifters and CrossFitters who have low body fat, but metabolically are wrecked. They actually are aging faster cellularly. They're not actually all that healthy just because they can perform something really big on the outside. So gentle fitness, gentle nutrition, it's the foundation to build everything on. And that doesn't mean you can't do high intensity again. It just means you got to have a nice foundation of gentle is sustainable, right? A foundation is something that you can stand on. So Zone 2 cardio is to move your body in a way that, it's 60 to 70% of your heart rate. So you can do this math. If you do 220 minus your age, once you'll get a number, then multiply that times 0.60 and 0.70. That's your range of Zone 2 cardio for your heart rate. But this is the best, simplest way I like to explain it, because I don't like to live or die by numbers. I like to kind of be in touch with my body. because my 60, 70% can kind of slide around each day. I always say, whatever you're doing, zone 2 cardio means you're getting your heart rate up and holding it up in some way, biking, walking, hiking, swimming, whatever it is. You should be able to walk and close your mouth and breathe through your nose. But after about 5 to 10 breaths, you're like, it just feels better to not hold my breath. Like I could keep holding my mouth and breathing through my nose, but it just feels better to just kind of relax my lips and take in full air. That's a nice zone 2 cardio. It's comfortable. You can talk, you can walk, you can even be on your phone. I'll go to the gym, and when I do zone 2 cardio, this is a little tip for some of you. I find I get to my zone 2 cardio a lot easier if I lift my weights first. So I'll do my weight training first and then go do the cardio, because then my heart settles right into it. And I can check my phone. I can do emails. I'm not breathless. Nothing in me is burning. There's no lactic acid. It almost feels too easy. But here's the beauty of zone 2 cardio. You're burning mostly fat for fuel. So we know that you're going right into the fat stores. Will you burn fewer calories? Probably, but you're accessing more fat for fuel. And if you're weight training, which those two things for menopausal, perimenopausal women, those are like the 1-2 sustainable, gentle fitness. You can hold those. Zone 2 cardio, some strength training. That's just a good foundation to build on. And then you can work back in the high intensity. So for me example, I'm feeling great now. My body doesn't hurt. No pain in my knees. The inflammation's gone. I mean, I literally feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. Maybe when I did fitness shows back in when I was in my 20s, but let's be real. I'm not 27. I'm 53 and I'm feeling good.
Heck yeah.
Even if it wasn't healthy. When I was doing the fitness, it's not even healthy. It's so unhealthy. So yeah, a lot of it is just that baseline. And now I'm feeling better. I can do a HIIT and it's fun. I have a good time and I don't hurt the next day. I'm like, okay, I feel sore, but I don't feel like pain and like I used to.
So Alisa, I'm curious to hear what does your ideal, I guess, workout split look like now for women that are in perimenopause and menopause? Do you typically tell them to lift a certain amount of days, to take a certain amount of rest days? Does a rest day still mean getting in a certain amount of steps?
Oh, that's so good. That's the one thing. I think if we as a population stopped thinking about workouts and just moved more. Like right now, Heather, I'm standing. I do a lot of my meetings standing. It helps get the steps in. It actually requires more energy, and it's called METs, like a metabolic equivalent of something that I'm just burning a little more energy throughout the day. We are so sedentary now that we rely on our workouts. And that's actually, you can be an active couch potato, which again, your biomarkers of health, your cholesterol will be high, your blood sugar can be high, and you can go to the gym in the morning, CrossFit, nail it, and then sit all day. The science shows that we're actually still not healthy. So if people just move more, like just move to get more steps in your day. That's a really beautiful way to build a foundation for zone 2 cardio. But yeah, getting your steps in, just being more active overall. I tell people, I encourage people to get their steps up, try for the 10,000 a day. Right now, the average American walks about 3,500 steps a day. 3,500.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
And back in the biblical times, Jesus would be known to walk 40,000 steps a day. 20 miles a day.
Oh,
some of his places where he would go, it could be up to 20 miles a day. Very normal. Walking at 3 miles per hour. That means for 7 hours or so, he would just be walking with his disciple, taking breaks to go into the net. It was very much a journeying, pilgriming kind of time. There's no Uber, there's no cars. You just walked. And that's the thing. We're so far removed from the earth now. We're got all these things to get us where we need to go and bring things to us that we need. We're losing our embodiment. So move more. I try to challenge people to get, 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day. And resistance training for women, perimenopause, menopause, they know their hormones are whacking, changing. Resistance training like 3 times a week 2 minimum, 3 times. But if they're really enjoying the strength training, then we'll move it up to a split where they're 4 days a week if they want. And cardio, again, zone 2 cardio 2 or 3 times a week if they're getting those steps in. And always a rest day, even 2 days of rest a week if that feels good for people. But I love movement. It's not that I have to. It's just good energy for the day. I'm not counting calories. I'm not trying to get a body fat in. It's just living actively is how we're made to live.
Yes. And I'll agree with that on Sundays, I try to not wear my watch because I just don't want to be connected. I want to be disconnected. I want to be focused on my family and church and all the things on Sundays. And then around here, everybody that listens to the podcast knows that I'm really big on Sunday resetting. But even though I'm not actively going out to work out, I still am thinking in my head, but am I moving? Am I like getting outside and getting sunlight? Am I walking? And it's not, I have no idea if I got my 10,000 steps, and that's not what it's about. It's about still being outside in nature, what the Lord has designed our body, literally, like you were saying, he's designed our bodies to be outside and to move. So
yeah, we're basically plants, like kind of like you got to get outside. You got to get some sunlight, got to get some fresh air. You need some water. You need some nutrients. You are cellular energy that is made to be fed by the things of the world around us, not the things that we've made into things that we've manufactured.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I want to ask you 2 more questions that are a little bit of deep dives, and then I'll ask you my closing question I ask everybody. So tell us, number 1, some of the health benefits of zone 2 cardio, because I was floored when I saw you share them. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, the benefit of zone 2 cardio is, well, first thing, as I said, it is a fat for fuel, so it's good source of energy. Second, mitochondria. So the mitochondria, that is the powerhouse of the cell. You have 37 trillion cells in your body right now, about give or take. And in those cells, there's a little mitochondria. That's literally the part of you that converts energy. It's your metabolism. The reason you can convert things and use it for energy is because of your mitochondria. When you are in zone 2 cardio, you are multiplying mitochondria. So you're actually becoming more of a powerhouse. You are you're becoming more metabolically robust, where when you do HIIT training, you're not multiplying mitochondria. You're actually just using those mitochondria, activating them and like putting them to use. So there's benefit to HIIT. But do we see why if all we do is at high intensity, we're just constantly putting the power, and meanwhile, we're losing mitochondria all the time too. They cellularly die off. So when we are doing zone 2, we're creating more of a cellular baseline, multiplying it. It's kind of like neurogenesis for your brain happens. Like God has created us that we can create more of what we're losing if we tap into the right sources. It's also fantastic for anxiety and depression, your mood, lifting mood, y'all. My gosh. And the fact that it's sustainable. It's something that you can do. Chronic inflammation. If you have inflammation in your body, it is going to lower that inflammation and reduce overall stress. We got to get the stress out of our life. Our phones, how connected we are to everything. I mean, if you really want to challenge yourself, take a double dose of good health into your life. Go for a zone 2 walk and don't take your phone.
Get it. I like that.
Take nothing. Take nothing for even if you just try for 20 minutes, no phone, no nothing, no earbuds, just go into the environment and you might feel a little anxious at first, but give yourself some space and time, just quiet that brain down and build a good, foundation of good energy. Getting out of that stress, anxiety, depression place. I just think we've overlooked it. We've come out of a time of HIIT training. It's still important,
Yes.
But it's also been overdone and we're feeling it.
Yeah. Well, that is your tangible takeaway for the day to my listeners. I want you guys to go outside for 20 minutes without your phone. You can do it. Yeah. I believe in you. Alisa believes in you. You can do it. Yeah. And then the other just kind of technical question I guess I have about all of this is I feel like alcohol has had its moment where everybody's been talking about we're realizing this isn't good for you now, Now I feel like people are kind of shining the spotlight on coffee for women and their hormones in the morning. And I'm curious what your take is on coffee. And if you do drink coffee, what is your favorite, like, healthier coffee creamer and why?
Oh, Heather, I'm probably not the best one to talk about coffee. I don't do coffee. I don't do coffee, but let me say that I do. I have an espresso. My husband, we have an espresso here. When and if I do it, I don't need it every morning. It's just not ever been a part of my life, but I do love a good creamer. What is the creamer called? My friend is a big advocate of it. Oh, shoot. Starts with an S. Not Swerve. I can't tell you. I'm on my now. When it comes to all the research on coffee, oh my gosh, what day is it? It swings on both.
It does.
Here's my deal on it. If you like coffee, enjoy your coffee, but how much of it are you having during the day? I always ask this of my clients. You can have coffee, but coffee can't have you. If coffee is having you, if it's like, if I don't get that next cup, then I'm in trouble. Like, that's something to think about. But having it in the morning as a ritual, the Lord is kind with disciplines and rhythms. If that's a good rhythm for you, I don't know. I don't think there's anything terrible about it. But if you're loading it down with all kinds of, the creamers, the creamers that I have used are like the organic. I'm not a dairy girl. My body does not do well with it. So, but I think we're always going to find something else to swing from. But I would lean hard on just the research I've done with alcohol. It's not great for us. I still have a glass here and there, but it really is. There's a Huberman podcast. Do you listen to Huberman?
Mm-hmm. I really respect his work a lot.
Oh, great. He did the whole one on alcohol. Go listen to it. I always tell people it's one you listen to, it's a dangerous one because once you know, you can't not know. And then you go, okay. And he does it well. He does no judgment, but he just kind of lays out the science to say, this is what alcohol does in our body and, choose wisely.
For sure. So I'll give my caveat on that is that for my husband, part of like his love language, I would even say, is cooking and making fancy cocktails and hosting and all this stuff. Yeah. And so for Eric and I don't even think that he loves that I'm trying to eliminate as much as I am. I'm basically having alcohol now, like once every 1 or 2 weeks, I'll have a glass because it's something he's made that's special. It's for a date night. It's not just like I'm having it multiple nights a week. And I really enjoy that. And it benefits our relationship because it is more about the experience than anything else. I love that. But then also for coffee, one thing that I've been trying to do, because not long after I had my babies, I was drinking half a pot a day and not thinking twice about it. Just like loved it. So I'm not hating, no judgment, but now I'm trying to do where, yes, I can have my coffee, but I'm trying to do it less times per week and just have a cup or two. And then I'm also trying to make sure I at least have my water at the same time. I know they want you to have your electrolytes and your waters before the coffee, but I can't do that. So I at least do them at the same time in the morning.
Hey, I go back to, you're getting it in there. Do you know who Wim Hof is? Have you heard of Wim Hof, the breathing guy?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So, there's all these different breathing techniques. And at one point someone asked him, so what's the best way? Should I breathe through my nose, out my nose, through 2 times in my nose? He goes, listen, just get it in there. Any hole, take it in any hole, put it out the hole. That's it. Like yes. And this is where we get so, I don't know, it goes back to the obsessive part. Like, careful. We can elevate these techniques and tips and tricks. And honestly, we become, show ponies for a distracted world where it's like, hey, I've got really great things for you today. Get some food in you. Take care of yourself. Let's go do those good things.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, and yes, I'm going to link back actually to the breathing podcast episode that we did on here because it was fascinating to me. And it was just so cool how God's designed your body to not only to, like we talked about today, work out and let that fuel you, but he gave you the gift of breath and how you can use that to calm down and stuff. It's just so cool. I'm like, God is so cool. Anyway, okay. So last fun question of the show, and I try to ask 1 or 2 questions to each podcast guest. I'm curious to see your answer on this one. It's a little bit different. What is the greatest life hack that you wish you knew 10 years ago?
The greatest life hack that I wish I knew 10 years ago. Wow, a life hack. Oh, I love this one. And do you know who Ann Voskamp is?
Yes.
Yeah. She is like the godmother of this. She's been doing this for years. A walking pads. I mean, if you're a working woman, if you're, at the office, if you can get yourself a standing desk and a walking pad, I think has changed me in terms of my productivity, my enjoyment, my health of overall energy. I just think they've kind of come on the scene recently, but they've been around a long time. And it's a great way to get your steps. And I know women that are getting their little walking pads. They're cheap, y'all. They're like cheap as in $200, $300 to $400, depending on what you get.
Sure.
I have clients, they put them in their living room and then they just kind of get up, watch TV. They're not like running on it. It's just 2 miles per hour, just walking, gentle fitness, getting that movement in. We're just so sedentary now. I think it would also help me have been a better mom when I was younger because I was just stressed so much. It'll help kind of release. It's a good life hack.
Absolutely. And I just got one not too long ago, so I'll link to mine on Amazon in the show notes. But Alisa, tell everybody where they can find you online. And then if you would close us out in prayer, I would so appreciate it.
I'd love to. And you can find me at Alisa Keeton. AlisaKeeton.com is my website. RevelationWellness.org is the ministry. If you are looking to stop obsessing, stop neglecting, and live free in your body and have a wholehearted faith, like integrated wholeness, go to revelationwellness.org. We have all kinds of free resources and content over there. But yeah, I would love to pray.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay. Everyone, let's take a deep breath and inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale so that you feel your belly expand and your lungs get wider. And then as you exhale, draw it all out. Yeah, God, thank you that our breath is a prayer. That when you breathed us into life, you spoke us into life. And wherever you are speaking, God, there's activity, there is mobility. And we thank you, God, that you spoke today. You're sharing good science and research. God, thank you that you are science. Thank you that you are knowledge, you are way, you are truth, and it leads to life, Lord. I pray for every woman listening, every mom to be, every mom who was, and those who are never going to be, Lord, your daughters. I ask that you would bring us into fullness of life. In your presence is fullness of joy, Lord, and that our lives are filled with joy and energy. And Lord, where there needs to be change for our chemistry or menopause, the life change we're going through, I ask that you would lead your daughters by the hand, that you would help them to know the way through, that we thank you for research, we thank you for science, but that it is secondary to first seeking you. So we seek you and we thank you for Heather. Lord, bless her community, bless them as they're coming more alive to this good life of living healthy, whole, and free. Not just behavior modifying, God. Give us more of you, more life. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Alisa, what a joy. Thank you so much for coming on today. And you guys, if you'll do me a favor, go follow Alisa on her Instagram, tell her hello, screenshot this episode, share it to your Instagram stories, go get that 20-minute walk in. We'd love to cheer you on in that. And then if this episode benefited you at all today, one of the best free ways you can support me is by just clicking that follow button, leaving a subscription or subscribing, rating and review it. I would appreciate it so much. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Okay, friend, that's a wrap on this week's episode. If you're not already following me on Instagram, make sure to screenshot this episode, share it to your stories, and tag @Healthy by Heather Brown so I can connect with you in my DMs. It truly brings me so much joy to see how these episodes impact you. Make sure to subscribe so we can see you back here next Tuesday for our weekly show. In case you don't know, your downloads, ratings, and reviews are the actual lifeblood of this podcast, and it helps spread the word to your friends and family. So please hit the download button on this episode and leave a 5-star rating if you super loved it. And if we're really BFFs, you'll spread the happy and text this podcast link to someone who needs to hear it today for some encouragement. Scroll down to the show notes on this episode to see any and all links mentioned, freebies to fuel your health goals, prayer-related episodes, and the 7-day free trial of my exclusive membership where I personally coach and cheer you on in whole health. While you're there, make sure to check out my Amazon storefront with healthy snacks, my favorite look for less workout outfits, and books and devotionals that challenge me in my faith. If you ever need to find my Amazon storefront, just Google Healthy by Heather Brown Amazon and it will come up. Have a great day, Girl Gang.